Sunday, aka back day, aka freaking back day. So, what do I want to do for back? I'm not exactly certain. I know I'm going to do a machine row at this gym that I like, and then probably just a bunch of single arm lat pull downs, And then the order, I don't know. I feel like I always do lats first. Maybe not even for like a super specific reason. I kind of just feel like if my lats are already kind of like pre-fatigued, then by the time I move on to a rowing movement, it might be easier to, bias more mid-back, mid-traps, Terry's major, rhomboid style stuff like that. But, I'll see. I'll freaking see. Really, I just kind of have to get in there and see how I feel. Like once you've done enough lifts, once you've gone in and you've done so, however many back days or however many chest days, right? And you've done so many different ones, it's, you can kind of start off with anything, you know? I wouldn't mind starting off with pull downs. I wouldn't mind starting off with rows. I wouldn't mind starting off with, well, I guess I probably wouldn't want to start off with pullovers. I feel like for me, I like doing those a little bit later in the lift. But, there's no specific exercise order which is going to give you some wide ass lats. As long as you do your hard sets, get a full back pump, and really stimulate the muscle, either with some really heavy sets or some lighter squeezing sets. Not that you shouldn't squeeze when you do a heavy weight, but you get what I'm trying to say. Then I think you're good. Just go hard. But in that same sense, as you try different lifts, maybe for you, when you do rows first and then you move on to pull downs, you don't really get that insane of a pump. But for whatever reason, if you do pull downs first and then you do rows, your back fucking inflates and it feels like you can barely even move your arms, I guess backwards. Whatever I'm trying to say there. So by doing new stuff, you'll kind of be able to see what works. And not only just, long term. Obviously, if you do something for a while and you see progress, then clearly it's doing something for you. But short term, I think I judge my workouts based on a kind of a variety of factors, but however good the pump was, that's up there. That's maybe 40% of my grading scale. And then the rest might be, I don't know, maybe 10% strength, 20% subjective feeling, and I don't know what the other 30% is. Subconscious, unknowable factors. But, as long as all those kind of add up to me sitting in the car at the end of the lift and saying, all right, that was good, then, what else can I ask for? And after back is done, I'll get some rear delts. But like I was saying yesterday, I think shoulders are going to get taken out of the routine. They're just kind of fucking overdeveloped. Not that I think that's, inherently a bad thing. Of course I want all my muscles to grow like weeds, right? Uncontrollably. But, it's got to be in proportion. You want everything to look good with everything else. So I'll probably do side delts and rear delts with my chest and back days for maybe another week. And then I think I'll probably bump it down. I don't know what my weight was at this morning. I don't have a scale at my house. But tomorrow I'll be able to have an update. I foresee, probably like 247, 248, something along those lines. Probably only 2-3 more weeks, and then we'll be locked in at a, 250. Now this is morning weight after going to the bathroom. To weigh yourself at any other time during the day is just kind of stupid. If you weigh yourself, I mean, my weight could fluctuate, honestly, probably close to 8 or, well, probably not 10 pounds. But I could wake up in the morning kind of dehydrated. Let's say I didn't drink a lot of water the day before. I could wake up kind of light. And then if I've got a fucking full belly of food, plus, you know, I drank a ton of water and now I'm fully hydrated at the end of the day, then I could step on the scale, you know, 10 pounds heavier. So your weight midday, honestly, just weighing yourself at any time of the day, except for in the morning after you go to the bathroom. You know, when you're fasted, right? That's the most consistent way to check your weight. So if you're, I mean, I see it every day. People going to the gym post workout, you know, and this is, I'm not talking about morning cardio either. I mean, just after hitting the chest or whatever their lift was, and they get on the scale. I mean, that weight could just fluctuate by pounds, multiple fucking pounds day by day, more than it would if you just weigh yourself in the morning. So, you know, again, best method would be to kind of have your own scale in the bathroom so you can keep track of that shit for yourself. But yeah, I feel like I was about to say something else, but now I forget. So let's just fucking get in there and see what this first movement's going to be. Honestly, I don't really think I'll even do more than, well, I'll have to see how many sets, but I think this new kind of style that I'm going for, I think I'm probably prone to usually call the lift at about 5-ish sets. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on the day. But I think that's the style that, or not I think, that's the style that I'm going to be sticking with for a considerable chunk of time. Unless, for some reason, I somehow decide, okay, this is stupid. But, whatever. Let's get in there. Let's get started. Alright, so now, totally warm. Sometimes I'll do these with just the stack, and it ends up being too light. Like, look, I do think there's total fucking merit in a light set where you really focus on squeezing. But you're not gonna fucking become a freak just lifting 30s and curling 30s, dude. Like, you really do gotta push it. And I like light squeezing sets. You know, I'll do a set of pullovers with just 20 pounds on the stack and really burn it out. That's after some real heavy sets. You know, if you think you can just do light squeezing sets, I think you're missing part of the picture, man. Throwing some serious weight around, you know, mass moves mass, don't forget it. So even though I am going heavy, I'm still going to try to squeeze. But let's do a set or two here and then see where I want to go from there. Okay. Oh. So those first reps, incomparable to the last ones. But just the nature of the movement, as my lats get more and more fatigued, my range of motion is going to be limited to, you know, just up and down way up here. Those reps, I still think were pretty effective. Because you got to think, that's still tension in the stretched position, right? That's where some serious, well, let's just say stuff is going on. But one more, at least. Fine. Fine. Okay. Oh yeah. This is yeah, shit. I mean, I know I've made some goofy TikTok posts in the past, but this one's straight out of JPG's book. That's legit. Like, just kind of bending over like this. I don't know if he does it like this, whatever, but the stretch that I can get, you know, I feel like I'm about to rip my shoulder blade out of place when I'm way up here, and it's just pulling on my lats. So that's 2 solid sets for a lat bias pull down. Let's go do that row machine. I think that will be a perfect what's the fucking word I'm trying to think of? Well, whatever. That'll be a good next movement. You got to think, right? You can hit your back, lats, bias, doing pull downs, and then the other way you can move your fucking body is by doing a, you know, a row, pulling kind of towards your, I guess towards your front, rather than towards your top, if you get what I'm saying. But you know, any kind of other variation, like different pull down machines or hammer strength rows and stuff like that, it's all just variations of that specific movement. You know, do your lats know that you're doing a single arm cable pull down versus a normal straight bar pull down? You know, it's just all about fucking tension. So as long as you do some pull down based movements plus some rows, and you yourself can feel a legit squeeze, then, you know, do whatever movements those are. I'll use some row machines, like some kind of fancy hammer strength ones, you know, where it's like a big arch and it's like a kind of scooping kind of action and all that fancy fucking engineering. And I'm like, I'd rather just do a fucking regular cable row. So don't, I guess the point I'm trying to make is don't get dazzled by fancy looking new fancy cool movements that you see somebody post. Like, the basics are going to work just fucking fine. So no drop set, no superset, no nothing. I'm going to try to move around a legit amount of weight, squeeze the fuck out of my traps, and, you know, contribute to a solid back pump. I may do 2 here, I may do 1. Again, I'll judge that based on how it feels. Come on, good team. All right. Oh. Let's do 1 more, but a little bit lighter. All right, come on. Okay. Fuck. Okay. Oh shit. What do I want to finish with? I feel pretty fucking pumped already, but, you know, just kind of subconsciously in my mind, or I guess consciously, I kind of feel like 1 more set would do me good to finish. Yeah, I think 1 more set of pull downs, that'll be good, and then we can go check out the pump. I was considering calling it right after that last set of rows, but I think 1 more finisher of pull downs will be good. Now, this is kind of a funky pull down machine. Usually I don't actually love it, but it's not bad. The stack is just about enough weight as I would want to do for, you know, a light, no, not light, but a squeezing bias set. So I think let's just hit this one, focus on just, burning my lats, and then I think this will be it. But, we'll have to see. Okay. Yeah, we're done now. Let's go post out somewhere. Whew. All right, so only 5 sets, and then back is done. I'm starting to think that I've been subject to the, let's just call it the volume fallacy, that more is better. But, I'm not just in here to go as crazy as possible for as long as possible. I'm in here to make sure that the few sets that I do, which will contribute to some muscular stimulation, are hard. And once I've done them, then I get out of here. So let's just see how back looks after those couple sets. Oh. 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 I feel pretty fucking wide. Oh yeah. Most certainly. Oh. Yeah. Oh. All right. Not too many poses for back. Just lat spread and double bi, both forward and backward. But, those single arm pull downs, I liked them. Fucking squeezed the fuck out of my lats. And I would say that was a good movement to bias the stretched position. Because even when I do pull downs regular, like, the normal lat pull down, with, let's say, even slow controlled weight, I still think I get a better stretch when I do one arm with a cable instead of both arms with a pull down. But then again, both movements are just good in different ways. You're comparing apples to oranges. They're all catered to do very specific things and bias specific muscles. So that just kind of goes to show, don't just do the same fucking routine, right? Change it up a little bit. And taking that to another level, if there's a movement which you don't think you really like, or if you haven't done it for a while because last time you tried it, you didn't like it, fuck man, throw it back into the routine, right? Worst case scenario, you do one set, or maybe you even do just a couple of reps and then stop the set because you say to yourself, okay, that feels like shit. I'm not going to do that row machine again. But best case scenario, whoa, holy fuck, I've never squeezed my lats I've never felt this part of my lat burning before, right? It's never going to be a detrimental activity to try something new, right? The worst thing you have to lose is maybe a couple minutes of time. And best thing is maybe you find a new fucking movement, which is like your, new current favorite lat pull down or something. If you get what I'm saying there. But I'm gonna do some, let's get some rear delts going, and then we can check the rear delt pump. See if they look any different than they do now. Hard for me to stay away from laying face pulls for long. But, your rear delt, personally, I don't think it's that complicated of a muscle. So if you love reverse pec deck, or if you love bent over dumbbell lateral raises, hitting your rear delts, or if you like doing face pulls, I think whichever one you feel the most, I don't mind doing that maybe back to back for a couple of lifts as the only movement. But then again, I think I'm a little bit spoiled shoulder-wise because they're kind of already advanced. So I guess if you're having trouble growing your rear delts, maybe it'll be better for you to try out a bunch of new movements or trying out a lot of new exercise styles. And I mean, that's up to you to fucking figure out. But I'll probably do 4-ish here until I'm fully pumped, and then we can go check it out. Okay. Oh. All right. So, if I can emphasize one thing when I do these laying face pulls, which, apart from the fact that I think that this is the far superior method to doing face pulls standing up and like trying to keep your balance out in the open air, you know, just unnecessary complexity where it's not needed. But when you do these face pulls, do not contract your traps at all. Like as I'm doing this, I mean, basically a row. Like even though I'm not down here, I'm still doing, you know, pretty much a row. My traps could potentially play a major role in this movement. So I'm not trying to flex them at all. Really, the only thing I'm trying to imagine is my mind is keeping my shoulder socket in the same place. Like the inside of my shoulder where my arm is rotating around, that point is not moving at all. Or at least I'm trying not to move it at all. All I'm doing is rotating my upper arm around my shoulder, right? Your back and your traps and your lats, they're gonna be responsible for moving your shoulder back and forth like this, right? Like in a row, when you go down to the stretch position, you want your shoulders to come forward a bit, right? Because you're activating your back in this movement. But with the face pull, I want my shoulder to stay in the same place. So me rotating my arm is only getting my rear delt to come into play. And once I grab onto the handle, that turns what would be this into this, if you get what I'm saying. And again, I mean, you know, like with RDLs, like with bench, you may not exactly be able to feel a perfect mind-muscle connection. More than likely, you probably won't as a beginner. But just with experience, you know, one day it's going to click. One day you're going to be benching and you're going to say, holy, whoa. I'm like pushing with my chest, not my hands. You know, you'll kind of have that eureka moment. But 4 sets, pumped. Let's see what it looks like. Even just through the shirt, like sitting here, rear delts are kind of fucking poking out. So let's see if they are, you know, disproportionately pumped compared to everything else. Yeah, I mean, as expected, especially from the side, like this is what I'm talking about with having a capped shoulder. Everybody's got a big front delt. For the most part, everyone's side delts are moderately developed, assuming you've been spamming your lateral raises like a good lifter. But rear delts get neglected, and I really couldn't tell you freaking why. I mean, they add such a, well, I'd say rear delts are almost like sprinkles and a cherry on top of everything else. Like a big chest, big side delts, big arms, they're just going to be complemented and, if anything, I'd say even elevated by big rear delts. I mean, just looking at me from the side, right? If the back of my shoulders was just kind of a flat slope and this kind of shadow didn't, let's propagate upwards. Oh my god, actually this is a pretty fucking crazy shot. Obviously not there yet, but I need Tom Platz behind me screaming, just like Lee Priest. We'll get there, don't worry. But if I didn't have this rear delt really fucking poking up the top, it would just take away from the build. So, of course, following the moniker of, you know, getting bigger and depositing mass onto your freaking build, which, you know, I feel like I'm pretty devout to, I'm not gonna let, well, I mean, fuck, I'm not gonna let any muscle get neglected. Hamstrings, calves. I mean, I've been fucking throwing forearms in at the end of every arm day. If it's on your frame, Honestly, I I think this has got to be one of the rules that I live by. If it's on your frame, you got to try to get it bigger, no matter freaking what. But honestly, I kind of feel like after that back day, I've got a residual bicep pump. All right, if I keep flexing here, I'm going to be here until they close. Let's get in the car. I busted out a little bit of calves at the end. I I almost forgot that I didn't do them yesterday. But what I really did was, as I was beginning to not walk out, but when I was getting my bag and stuff together, I'm like, wait a second, my calves aren't sore. My calves are not sore right now. And you got to think, what I'm doing by hitting calves is preventing myself in the future from being able to say, oh crap, I wish my calves were bigger. You get what I'm saying? You know, I can almost guarantee, well, I guess if you don't care, then whatever. But for the most part, if you want bigger calves, you know, you can blame genetics, right? You can blame your freaking genetics, or you know, you can have an objective view of reality, and you can blame yourself, right? Because the only person controlling whether or not you do calves is, you know, well, guess who? Guess freaking who that is, man. Ooh, I think you know. I think you know. But solid calf pump. Just did 5 sets on the machine leg press. I would have done the actual normal, like, seated calf raise, but honestly, I don't really love that one. It's kind of the foot stand, or the platform, whatever. It's at a little bit of an angle, so I don't know, I just don't really love it. You know, calf raises on a leg press, I think it feels pretty good, man. Plus, then you can load up a pretty serious amount of weight. You know, just like anything else. Like I've been saying, this whole freaking lift. You know, light squeezing sets, I like them, but heavy hard sets, I like those too. And honestly, I think those are going to be more paramount to gains than your real light squeezing sets. You know, like you, I don't know if there's ever been an absolutely freaky chest built purely off of, you know, moderate weight cable flies. You know, I don't think there has ever been a pair of legs that were, you know, extremely freaky that were not built without some heavy pressing. I don't think there were any biceps that are really fucking astounding that weren't built by at least a couple of really heavy sets of curls. But then again, those light squeezing sets are going to come into play too. So I'm kind of under the impression that an even mix is going to be good for you. Even freaking mix is going to be good for you. So plan when I get back to the house is just eat. Breakfast this morning was a ribeye with a bowl of cereal, 4 servings worth of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, as well as 3 cups of milk. Loved it. Took a nap right after, of course. Fucking, you know, had to sleep it off just a touch. And then, you know, just a bunch of other random goods and treats as the day progressed. I don't know what I'll eat when I get home. I'll probably make some kind of something. And it is going to be coupled with The Sopranos. I finally fucking started it. I've known for years that it's a good show, but I've kind of been, I don't know, putting it off. I've just been rewatching. Oh, I don't know. Is it weird to have rewatched Breaking Bad 5 times? Is that too many? It doesn't feel like it to me. I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts. But Breaking Bad is sick. Better Call Saul, love it. I'd probably watch that or rewatch that just as many times. But yeah, finally changing it up. So now, you know, if somebody bumps into me, instead of saying, "Hey dude, hey, watch out, what are you doing?" I'm just gonna be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You know, some shit like that. I'm sure I'll catch on to some kind of Sopranos lingo as time progresses. But other than that, man, nothing is fucking changing. Right? The gears are turning, and we're depositing little bits of protein and contractile tissue on my frame every day. Well, I guess every night, you know. You're not going to build muscle in the gym, right? You're actually kind of compromising your muscle and breaking it down in the gym. It's going to actually get deposited onto your frame and kind of rebuilt stronger when you go to bed and sleep. That was not, I don't know why I was stopping at that light for so long, right? You train hard, you stimulate the muscle, then you got to go home and recover it. You got to freaking go home and recover it. But yeah, day in, day out, wake up, do the cardio, do whatever other random ass outside responsibilities I have to do. Pre-workout, gym, post-workout meal, and probably a couple of more meals, and go to bed and repeat it. The less, I want to say, extenuating circumstances that are going to get in the way of that routine, the better. And then, honestly, kind of the more comfortable you can get with something like that, the better. Even when, let's just kind of reference sports. Even when you used to play this and that or whatever, you used to, I don't know what you did. You probably played football or something. You went to practice a couple times a week, had a couple two-a-days, but I think you kind of have to realize that consistency is going to take you pretty far when it comes to, any kind of training. But of course, if I'm talking about shit, it's going to be about weight training. But you got to think, what else is there that you do every day and you put hours of time into it and, legit effort and mental thought processes and how to improve it. If you have something like that where on a daily basis, or at least near daily, you can actually go into a certain space or whatever, have a certain mentality, really kind of be thinking, okay, I want to improve this. I want to make changes to this. I want to make sure I really push myself here. To practice something on a daily basis for long enough, dude, you're just going to become a fucking legend. But also, you kind of have to couple that with the fact that, you kind of have to be a little bit of a nutcase, right? I think about this a lot, I do. When you guys talk to me about, or when you comment, how the fuck can he talk about lifting for so long? How does he not run out of shit to talk about? If you talk to a dude whose parents took him to a go-kart track every day for 2 hours a day, and the number one thing that he thought about in his mind was go-karting, I think he would have a fucking million things to say about it. He'd be so you want to understeer and essentially you just want to sneak into a drift or else you're going to spin out of it. If you do something for long enough, you'll just kind of get a certain, I don't want to say level of expertise, but I guess I kind of do. So I could fucking go on for hours. Anytime I'm, post-workout, if I'm talking to somebody and we kind of, instead of just shooting random shit about day-to-day stuff, if we start talking about training, I could sit, not even sit, I could just stand in the corner at the gym with somebody, oh, well, what do you like doing for chest? I like that kind of machine, but really I don't love the contraction just because it puts a little bit too much stress on my wrists, or it could just go on and on. There's a plethora of fucking shit to be talked about training wise, at least in a bodybuilding context. So I do not have to worry about running out of shit to say. But solid lift, rear delts done, calves pumped, lats not burning, but I can definitely tell they've been worked. So right now I'm in a compromised state. I fucking burned a ton of muscular glycogen. I'm ready to eat. So home, food, and oh my god. I was about to say I'm gonna sleep like a baby, but I have a thermodynamics 2 exam tomorrow. Oh my goodness. Do you happen to know anything about gas cycles and or about refrigeration cycles and gas mixtures? Leave it in the comments down below. Leave a comment, a couple of formulas that you think are going to help me out on this exam. I'll be so grateful. But tomorrow's going to be an arm day, plus forearms. Perfect. All I got to do is get my other school responsibility shit out of the way and take the pre and get in there to see just how big around my arms can get when they're pumped. I will try my best not to forget to bring a tape measure so we can see unpumped and pumped just how the size of these future pythons will be. If I can make a prediction, unpumped, I'm pretty certain they're floating around 19, maybe 19 and a quarter. Maybe 19 and a quarter, but really I'm thinking about 19. And pumped, well, hey man, if it's a good pump, I think I could get into the 20 range, but I'm really not sure. I am really not freaking sure. So, something to look forward to tomorrow, apart from just normal training. A little bit of a check-in. But, yeah man, that's it. I'll freaking see you next time.